We have a very special guest joining us on the line, late-minute addition to War Room Impeachment over the last 12 hours or so. Tom Fitton, the president of Judicial Watch, one of the great organizations out there that does so much on the legal side of things, and Tom is a real font of knowledge on this stuff. I saw his tweets on the matter yesterday. Do we have Tom Fitton on the line? Tom, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hey, Tom. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it was relatively last minute. Tom, just to what Daniel Huff was just saying, and you know, I saw you tweeting about the call logs yesterday that have been included in this majority report, this 300-page report that came out from Adam Schiff yesterday. Real nice storybook and lots of nice references to the founders in his storybook, but something much more concerning and deeply nefarious as far as I'm concerned, Tom. What say you to how the Democrats have not just obtained from the telephone companies, but published call records of the House Minority Chairman of the Intelligence Committee, the President and the President's lawyer, journalist sources? I thought this was America, Tom. Where's the ACLU?
Yeah, you raised some good points there, William. I saw that, and I could not believe that these call records were obtained. I don't know how they were obtained. I don't know if it was a subpoena or a letter. Or a leak, I don't know. But we'll find out maybe today. But the idea that you had these politicians in the House go after the president's lawyers' call records without providing the president any ability to object or highlight the fact, hey, this is my lawyer, you're going after his communications, who he's calling, reflects on my representation or his representation of me, and strikes at my God-given right to have a confidential relationship with my attorney as protected by the Constitution.
And so, Tom, obviously this is unconstitutional. It's definitely, legally speaking, it's way outside of the moral boundaries. Do you think that there's also a criminal implication here? And what would this not just open up the floodgates for then, say, Senate Republicans to say, you know what, we want to find out every time that Adam Schiff or one of his committee members spoke with the whistleblower or anybody else?
Well, if there was a leak of these materials, then you could get into the issues of crimes. Of course, that's at the heart of this impeachment inquiry. It goes back to an illegal leak, in my view, of material, which was the contents of the classified phone call the president had with the president of Ukraine. It was classified at the time. And the second part of your question is, I don't know what else can be done in response to this. This is just a political game right now. These hearings, they're not substantial in terms of the Constitution, and Republicans don't have any rights or abilities or powers to go after anything at this point.
Tom, you've been pretty clear about this. I mean, across your Twitter feed, which, by the way, is one of my favorites. It's at Tom Fitton on Twitter, about this, what you call a coup, an attack on the Republic, on the Constitution. We've got Daniel Huff in the studio with us as well, talking about perhaps the justification for a motion to dismiss this whole thing. Daniel, could you just summarize your opinion on that? I want to get Tom's response to that as well.
So the key point of my argument is that the Democrats are accusing the president of doing something that they themselves are already doing, and that for the same reason they say they can do it, meaning offer these subpoenas.
Projection, right?
Yes. But and it's not just hypocrisy though. It's like for the same reason they can do it, they can't complain about the president doing it, and therefore all of these facts, this 300-page report, at bottom it does not matter, because even in the worst case scenario, even with a quid pro quo, the president can say, listen, you think I was trying to go after Biden, you think there's strong evidence. It doesn't matter, because I can situate that within a broader, valid official purpose, going after corruption and trying to get other countries to help support the foreign aid. And if you think that's implausible, that's no less implausible than the Democrats claiming they want my tax returns, which they're really trying to get dirt from, but really they claim there's a valid purpose there, a legislative purpose.
Government coercion.
Exactly. And so since the facts don't matter, it's ripe for a motion to dismiss, because even if everything the Democrats claim is true, it cannot rise to the level of impeachment, because there's nothing unusual here. There's no harm to the natural order. Everyone's doing it. And so I think when it goes over the Senate, what they ought to have is a motion to dismiss. Senator Byrd brought a motion to dismiss to get rid of the Clinton impeachment. It actually failed, but here I think it could work if this argument takes hold, and I think it could.
Tom, what do you think of that?
No, I don't dispute any of that. And to take it a step back further, any time the president who is running for re-election communicates with a foreign power, seeks something for the foreign government to do to the benefit of the United States, obviously that inures to the president's benefit politically because he's seeking re-election. He wants the country to succeed, and he's doing the work as president. So when he gets foreign governments to abide by our policy or follow what our direction would be, he benefits politically from that. So under that theory, he can't communicate with any foreign leaders because if they do anything positive in response to his communications, somehow that's interfering in the elections. It's absurd. Look, Congress is upholding or refusing. The Congress is refusing to vote on, which is their right, this Canadian-Mexican trade agreement, evidently because they're not getting certain benefits out of that package that they otherwise that they would demand. And that's political log rolling. It goes on all the time. It's not illegal. It's not unconstitutional. And the Democrats don't have anything to impeach him on. And incredibly, they're having an impeachment hearing today, and they're asking these 4 witnesses to come in to talk about an impeachment where they don't have the specifics of what they're being asked to talk
Tom, just
about.
hang over the break. We'll be right back. We want to take Tom and Daniel right after the break here on War Room Impeachment. Stay tuned. Welcome back to War Room Impeachment. Jason Miller, Raheem Kassam, Daniel Huff, Tom Fitton. This is a heck of a party over here. We have a few minutes left. I want to bring Tom Fitton back in, the president of Judicial Watch, just to conclude some of the thoughts he was elaborating before I rudely cut in with commercials. Tom, do we still have you? Tom Fitton. Tom.
Yeah, I'm here. Can
There
you
you
hear me?
are. Thank goodness. Tom, you were making such an interesting point. It would have been such a shame to lose you. Please conclude what you were just saying about today's Judiciary Committee hearings and the four witnesses.
Well, this is an impeachment hearing about nothing. There are no articles of impeachment, so they're being asked to comment on a conclusion that has or documents or materials that haven't been presented to the American people for consideration. We have a 300-page report that is just more of the gossip that we heard in the prior hearings. I'm calling it the Gossip Girl report. If the Judiciary Committee is going to be holding a hearing, they should be trying to figure out how Schiff got those phone records that he was able to insert into the public record in violation of any notions of decency or Constitution. That's the issue today. To have academics come in, most of whom are partisans. You have literally an Elizabeth Warren donor testifying to the Democrats less than a year before the election to impeach Donald Trump. I mean, if that doesn't tell you about the abusive political nature of this process, I don't know what will. I understand all processes like this. It's an impeachment process. It's in the House. It's political. But there's got to be a modicum of concern about our republic, our Constitution, and the due process rights of the president. And none of that has been present through any of this.
So Tom, I mean, how big of a backlash do Democrats potentially face here today by bringing in someone like Noah Feldman, who, aside from being a constitutional law expert, is also an expert on Sharia law, as well as the whole thing being quarterbacked by Norm Eisen, the former ethics czar under President Obama, along as other Obama donors and appointees, to basically bring in 4 supporters of the previous administration to come in and attack President Trump. What do you think the prospect for backlash is here?
Well, they don't have the support of the American people. There's not a majority in support of impeachment. A bare majority doesn't even get you to impeachment. You need a strong public support for this. And this is why they're moving quickly, because they realize the more this percolates, the less support that there will be for it. The longer this has gone on, support is lessened. So speed is key to the coup here, and they're just trying to get this done before too many voters come back around to the accountability that I think ultimately fear. My guess is their calculation is, we lose the House, we lose the House. This is something worth getting the presidency over.
Tom Fitton, Judicial Watch President, thank you so much for joining us here on War Room Impeachment. We really appreciate it. Could have had you much longer, but when Stephen K. Bannon's not in the studio, they only let us do 1 hour. If he's here, we get to do 2 or 3.